Archangel Michael says, "There is a trembling in the heavens that only the most sensitive hearts can feel." It is not the kind of shaking that brings fear, but rather a calling that stirs the soul awake from its long sleep. The light of God is moving through the earth with such compassion and force that even the shadows are growing restless. And in this very hour, when the battle in the spirit realm has reached its peak, something has been revealed that carries deep importance for your life. Heaven's gaze is fixed on you, not with judgment or anger, but with the love of a father who has waited for his child to come home. Type 555 to receive God's love. There are no accidents in the divine path. Every moment that brought you here, every tear you cried in secret, every ache in your chest that you thought no one noticed, they have all been seen. God saw them. Jesus carried them with you, even when you didn't know his hand was there. This is not a warning to frighten you, but a gentle cry from the heart of the one who formed you, the one who breathed life into your lungs, not for the world to break you, but for his love to heal you. The war in the unseen realms is real. The angels do not rest. They fight not for kingdoms or thrones, but for your soul, your peace, your return to the truth. Tonight, in the quiet, as the world turns in sleep or rushes in noise, something sacred has opened, a place between now and eternity where your heart can meet God again. Not in shame, not in guilt, but in the warm arms of mercy that never grow tired. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you thank God for every new day. There was a time, not long ago, when you stood at a crossroads. Perhaps you didn't even realize it. The decisions, the distractions, the hurt that kept piling up, they weren't just random. They were part of a deeper struggle between the light that longs to fill you and the darkness that tries to silence your soul. But even in your lowest moment, Jesus never left your side. He waited. He hoped. He believed in the day you would finally hear his voice again, soft and low like the breeze that moves through the trees at dusk. Archangel Michael did not come with swords for men to see. His sword is truth, and it cuts through the lies that have wrapped around your spirit like chains. For too long, the enemy whispered things that were never true. He told you that you were not enough. He told you that you were forgotten. He told you that your past had disqualified you. But those were not the words of God. They were never the voice of Jesus. His voice has always called you beloved. His arms have always stayed open. Even now, as you read these words, the Spirit of God is closer than your next breath. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. There is a sacred unraveling happening. Not a destruction, but a gentle undoing of the lies you believed, the guilt you carried, the silence you sat in when your heart was breaking. You were never meant to carry this alone. And you never did, not really. For 2 hours, the angels stood guard. They fought for clarity, for truth, for you to remember. Remember who you are. Remember whose you are. You are not lost. You are not a mistake. You are the child of the living God, chosen before time, loved without condition, and carried in grace no matter what storm came against you. Type 1111 if you agree. And what has been exposed now is not just about the schemes of those who walk in darkness, but about the light that still shines in you. The information that was hidden is not meant to condemn, but to free you. God reveals what He intends to heal. What comes into the light can no longer grow in the shadows. There is no shame in being seen by Him. There is only love, deep, vast, healing love that reaches the corners of your heart you've kept locked for too long. You are not reading this by accident. There are no coincidences in a world ruled by a sovereign God. The timing is divine. The message is personal. What matters now is not how far you've wandered, but that your Father is calling. Jesus is not behind you, shaking His head at your choices. He is ahead of you, smiling, reaching back, saying, "Come. Walk with me again." The tears that want to fall, let them. The ache that rises in your chest, don't push it down. It is the sound of your spirit waking up to truth. You have not been forgotten. You have not been disqualified. You are not beyond hope. You are not alone. The spiritual warfare that shook the heavens was about you, because you matter to God that much. Because Jesus thought you were worth every drop of blood. Because even now, heaven rejoices that you are still reading, still breathing, still open. In that quiet place, God is not a distant figure waiting to judge, but a loving Father kneeling down to look into your eyes, saying, "I never stopped watching over you." When the angels fought, they fought for you to feel that truth again. Not with loud declarations or grand displays, but with the soft, steady light of truth, the truth that you have always belonged, that you are deeply loved, and that even in the moments you doubted it most, you were never forsaken. There are people in this world who walk under heavy burdens they never speak about. They carry secret wounds, wear silent masks, and pretend they're fine while their souls feel like they're breaking. Maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've smiled when all you really wanted to do was fall to your knees and cry out for help. But Jesus knows what you carry. He's never been blind to the silent wars you fought inside yourself, and He never turned away when it got too heavy. He stayed. He stayed when others walked away. He stayed when you didn't believe in yourself. He stayed when you gave up. Because that's who He is, the God who doesn't leave, even when you don't ask Him to stay. In the quiet aftermath of this divine battle, something has shifted. It may be subtle, but it is real. There's a softness returning to your heart. A warmth you thought you might never feel again. This is no accident. It is the breath of God reaching into your life again. The pain hasn't erased you. The wounds haven't ruined you. The lies haven't won. You are still standing, and more importantly, you are still seen by heaven. Type Amen if you believe. When the private investigator was exposed in the Spirit, it wasn't just about uncovering wrong, it was about revealing where the light needed to shine. God is not interested in drama or fear. He is interested in healing. In freedom. In truth. There are things you've lived through that no one fully understands, but God does. There are questions you stopped asking because you were too afraid of the answers, but God holds the answers gently, never forcing them, only waiting for the moment your heart is ready. That moment is now. The things you thought were broken beyond repair, the dreams, the faith, the trust, they are not beyond God's reach. He can rebuild what you thought was lost. Not into what it used to be, but into something new, something even more beautiful than before. He makes all things new, not just once, but again and again, because He knows we fall, and He knows we forget, but He never grows tired of restoring what we surrender. Remain until the last moment, because what you are about to hear is no ordinary message. This isn't about religion or rules. This is about a relationship. It's about coming back to the one who always loved you first. You don't need perfect words. You don't need to explain every mistake. You just need to let Him in again. Open your heart, even if just a little, and He will fill it with light you haven't felt in years. The spiritual battle was fierce because you are precious. You are not random. You are not small in God's eyes. You are part of His plan, and nothing can steal what He has written over your life. Not fear, not shame, not people, not even your past. The enemy wants you to believe it's too late. God says it's not even close. Right now, Jesus is closer than you've ever known. Not because you've done anything to earn it, but because He chooses to be. That's love. Love that goes to war for you. Love that never leaves the room, even when you try to shut the door. Love that whispers your name in the dark until you remember who you are again. So breathe. Let the tears come if they need to. Let your shoulders drop from the weight they've been carrying. You're not alone anymore, and you never truly were. God is with you. The angels are surrounding you. And something beautiful is beginning again, right here, right now. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. The world often moves too fast to notice the sacred moments, but heaven doesn't rush. God is not impatient with your process, nor disappointed in how long it's taken. He knows where you've been, what you've walked through, and the thoughts that kept you awake at night. He knows about the dreams that crumbled slowly over time, not with loud crashes, but in quiet disappointments that no one else saw. But He was there, in all of it. You may not have seen Him then, but He never left. He carried you through seasons you thought would break you for good. And now, in this moment, He is ready to rebuild what's been hidden in the ashes. The exposure of what was hidden wasn't to bring fear, but to bring truth into the light. Not the kind of truth that shames, but the kind that heals. God never reveals anything to destroy, He reveals to redeem. The pain you've buried so deeply, the confusion you've wrapped in silence, the doubts you were afraid to admit, He already sees them all, and yet he still calls you his. That's the kind of love Jesus gives. A love that doesn't flinch at the mess. A love that steps into the middle of it and says, I'm not leaving. Type 1818 to claim miracles. There are angels watching over you, not because you are fragile, but because you are chosen. You are marked by heaven, not because you are perfect, but because you are deeply loved. Every step you've taken in the dark, every battle you've fought in your heart, has been seen. And now, the light is pouring in again. Gently. Slowly. Like morning breaking over a long and lonely night. You may not recognize the warmth at first, but it's real. Let it reach you. God doesn't need your perfection. He only asks for your presence. To come back to him, even if limping, even if tired, even if unsure. He is the healer, the restorer, the lifter of your head. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to fix what's broken before you come. Just come. Just let your spirit rest in the truth that Jesus loves you as you are, not as you wish you were. The enemy will always try to convince you that you are too far gone, too broken, too late. But the voice of God is softer, slower, and deeper than that. He speaks with kindness. He calls you by name, not your shame. He invites you into grace that never runs dry, into peace that the world cannot give or take away. It is a peace that stills your racing thoughts and calms your restless heart. It is the peace that was bought for you by blood, by sacrifice, by love so fierce it could not be stopped by death. And now, here you are, not by accident, not by chance, but by divine appointment. Your story is not over. Your heart is not too wounded. Your faith is not too small. God can breathe life back into dry places. He can call dead things to rise. He can take what the enemy meant for harm and turn it into something beautiful, not just for you, but through you, so others may find healing too. The warfare you felt wasn't just about you, it was for your future, your family, your purpose. Because when one soul returns to Jesus, heaven rejoices and darkness trembles. When you say yes to God again, even if your voice shakes, chains begin to break. Lies begin to fall. Generations begin to shift. Because the power of Christ in you is stronger than any fear, any failure, or any lie that ever tried to hold you back. So breathe again. Hope again. Trust again. You are safe in His hands. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are deeply known, deeply seen, and deeply loved by the one who created you. Let His love fill every empty place. Let His presence quiet every storm inside. Let Him lead you, not just into comfort, but into freedom, a freedom that was always meant to be yours. The spiritual warfare may seem like a mystery to many, but in the unseen places, it is fierce and real. And yet, it is not a war that ends in fear or darkness. It is a battle fought in light, for love, for truth, for healing. Angels do not wage war to terrify, they fight so that chains fall off, so that lies are exposed, and so that your heart can beat freely again in the rhythm of heaven. What was revealed after those 2 hours was not just about someone else's secrets, but about the weight you've unknowingly carried for too long, the burdens that were never yours to hold. Type 999 if you trust Jesus. The information may involve others, but the invitation is for you. God is calling you deeper, not just to understand, but to be restored. You may have been caught in things you didn't see coming, tangled in the pain others caused, or confused by situations that left you hurt and unsure who to trust. But God is not confused. He sees the whole picture. And He has never once taken His eyes off of you. The healing you long for is already beginning. It may not come in the way you expect, it may come softly, like a sunrise that takes its time, but it is coming. Jesus is walking alongside you, not rushing you, not pushing you forward before you're ready, but matching every step, holding your hand even when you think you're walking alone. He walks where the broken walk. He goes where the wounded go. Because He is not afraid of your mess, your questions, or your history. He came for the very things you thought disqualified you. There is a sacred invitation unfolding right now, not to figure everything out, but simply to rest in His love. The world may have handed you conditions and requirements, but Jesus offers something different. He offers grace with no expiration. He offers mercy that keeps reaching, no matter how many times you've pulled away. And He offers presence, His presence, which never demands perfection, only a willing heart. You do not need to clean yourself up for Him. You don't need to explain every decision or justify every moment of silence. He knows. And still, He calls you precious. Still, He wants you near. Still, He sees something beautiful in you, something worth fighting for, something that has not been lost even in the darkest chapters of your life. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the Money Magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. Let this be the moment you begin to let go, not of your memories, but of the shame tied to them. Not of your past, but of the belief that it defines you. The truth is, your story is still unfolding, and what God writes with His own hand cannot be undone by anyone or anything. You may have felt invisible, unheard, or unimportant, but heaven has always known your name. Angels have always stood at your side, even when you didn't believe anyone was listening. And now, God is doing something new. Not loud, not showy, but deep, lasting, real. It's happening in your heart, one breath at a time. He's returning joy where there was sorrow. He's bringing peace to the places where anxiety once lived. He's opening your eyes to see that even when you felt forgotten, you were surrounded by divine love. This is not a call to fear what has been exposed, but to rejoice in what is being healed. The truth sets you free, and the truth is this: you are loved beyond what you can imagine. You are chosen. You are being led gently back to who you were always meant to be, not defined by the world, but by the heart of your Savior. You don't have to understand it all. You just have to say yes, even if your yes is quiet, even if it's whispered through tears. You are not invisible to heaven. You never were. And now, after all that has happened, after the battle that shook the quiet places of your spirit, you are being invited not into fear or confusion, but into clarity, into healing, into the still, warm presence of God that makes all things new, even the things you thought could never be whole again. Type 2323 if you trust in God. So much of life can leave you feeling worn thin, carrying more than you should, smiling when it hurts, pretending to be fine because you don't want to bother anyone. But you've never been a burden to Jesus. Not once. He doesn't look at your pain and pull away. He looks at your pain and moves closer. That is who He is, the healer of hearts, the mender of souls, the one who kneels beside you in the dust, never with judgment, only with love. What was revealed in the Spirit wasn't about stirring fear or shame, it was about setting the captives free. It was about loosening the grip of fear and guilt and replacing it with something stronger than anything darkness can touch. It was about the light returning, steady and slow, into the places in you that have been waiting far too long for peace. And now that it's here, even if you only feel it in small moments, let it in. Let the light stretch across your soul like morning sunlight pouring through the cracks in your curtains. You don't need to force it. Just breathe and let it happen. God is not asking for your strength. He's offering His. All He asks is that you don't turn away, not this time, not when your healing is already unfolding. Type Amen if you believe God is your strength, and share this powerful video with 9 faithful souls to receive blessings and miracles. You may have lost things, time, people, opportunities, even parts of yourself, but nothing is too lost for God to restore. The Lord doesn't return what was stolen in the same way it was taken. He brings it back redeemed, deeper, stronger, more beautiful than it was before. Even now, He's writing restoration into your story. You may not see it all at once, but trust that it's coming. His promises are not empty, and His love never fails. The pain you've endured hasn't gone unnoticed. It's not being ignored by heaven. In fact, every tear, every moment of silence, every whispered prayer has been gathered in the heart of God. He remembers your sorrow, not to hold it against you, but to hold it with you, so that you never have to carry it alone again. The private things, the hidden griefs, the wounds no one else knows about, Jesus sees them all. And He's not stepping around them. He's stepping into them, holding your hand, saying softly, "Let me in. Let me love you through this." And He will. He always will. Archangel Michael stands not to frighten, but to protect. Not to accuse, but to declare that you are worth defending. That you are God's child, and no darkness, no lie, no enemy has the final word over you. The cross has already spoken. The blood has already paid the price. And now, all that remains is for you to receive what has always been waiting for you, a place in the heart of God, one that no one else can fill. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to have the perfect words. All you need is to be honest. If all you can do is breathe and whisper, "Help," heaven hears you. If all you can do is sit in the quiet and let the tears come, Jesus sits with you there. You are not failing. You are healing. So rest in that. Let yourself rest. Let the lies fall away. Let the pressure go quiet. You don't have to be strong right now. You just have to be here. With him. That's all. Type 555 to receive miracles. You don't have to force yourself to feel okay. You don't have to fake joy or pretend to be brave. God isn't moved by appearances. He's moved by honesty. He comes near to the ones who are tired of pretending, the ones who finally whisper, "I can't do this without you." Because the truth is, you were never meant to carry any of this alone. That's why Jesus came, not just to forgive you, but to walk with you, to cry with you, to lift the burden you didn't even know was weighing you down. The spiritual battle wasn't punishment. It was rescue. It was protection. It was heaven stepping in when you didn't know how to cry out anymore. The exposing of darkness was never meant to shame you, but to clear the way for truth, for clarity, for God's voice to rise above the noise. The things you didn't see before are being brought into light, not to overwhelm you, but to free you, because you deserve to walk in truth, in peace, in the light of Jesus. And now, in this sacred space of stillness, you are being reminded of something you may have forgotten: you are wanted. Not for what you can do or how well you perform or how strong you appear to be. You are wanted simply because you are His. Because when God looks at you, He doesn't see failure. He sees His creation. He sees the soul He formed in love, the heart He placed in your chest with purpose. You don't have to prove your worth. You've always had it. Jesus walks slowly with the broken-hearted. He doesn't rush your healing. He doesn't push you forward with impatience. He walks at your pace, holding your hand, matching your steps, letting you lean into Him when your strength gives out. And when you fall, He doesn't scold you, He gathers you. Every single time. That is the kind of love that changes everything. That is the kind of love that rewrites stories. The information that was revealed, the hidden things that surfaced, they were never meant to stir fear in your heart. They were brought into view so you could finally walk free from the lies you didn't even know were holding you down. The truth may feel heavy at first, but once it settles, it brings clarity, and clarity brings freedom. And that freedom is your inheritance. Not because you earned it, but because Jesus gave it to you when He gave everything. It's okay if you're still learning how to trust. It's okay if you don't have all the answers. Jesus is not expecting perfection. He is only asking for your heart. And even if you can only offer Him the broken pieces, that is more than enough. He makes masterpieces from fragments. He breathes life into ashes. And He calls the most wounded souls His beloved. You are being gently led out of the darkness and into light, not in one giant leap, but step by step, hand in hand with a Savior who never grows tired of walking with you. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to not be okay and still be completely, deeply loved by God. So let this be the moment you let yourself fall into grace. Not the kind of grace that just looks good on the outside, but the real kind, the kind that changes how you see yourself, how you carry your story, how you believe in the future. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not disqualified from God's promises. Type yes to affirm. Sometimes, healing feels like remembering who you were before the world made you feel unworthy, before people let you down, before lies crept in and told you that you were too far gone. But Jesus remembers the real you. The you he dreamed of long before the world ever touched you. The you he formed with tenderness. The you he called good, even on your worst days. And now, he is gently calling you back to that place, not to erase what you've been through, but to restore what was lost along the way. The spiritual battle didn't come because you were weak. It came because you are valuable. Because the light inside of you, even dimmed by sorrow, still shines. And that light is a threat to darkness. That's why the enemy tried to confuse you. That's why fear came knocking. That's why the warfare felt so heavy. But it didn't win. It never had the final say. Because God stood in front of you. Because the angels surrounded you. Because Jesus never stopped speaking truth over your name, even when the world tried to drown it out. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. The exposure that took place was not only about uncovering deception, but about awakening your heart. Sometimes things have to fall apart so we can finally see what was hurting us. Sometimes the truth comes like fire, not to destroy, but to refine, to burn away what was never meant to stay. And what remains, even after the ashes settle, is you, loved, chosen, and made new. You don't need to run anymore. You don't need to hide. The love of God is not chasing you to punish, but to bring you home. He is not angry. He is not disappointed. He is near. Nearer than the pain. Nearer than the confusion. Nearer than the mistakes that still haunt your mind. And He is whispering something sacred into your heart. Even now, you are still worthy of joy. You are still worthy of peace. You are still worthy of love. Let those words rest in you. Let them break the silence that shame created. Let them soften the places that fear made hard. God is not waiting for a better version of you. He is loving you right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. He knows what happened. He knows what was said. He knows what you wish you could undo. And still, He says, "You are mine." The private investigator in this story may have been exposed, but the deeper revelation is about you, about the beauty of a heart returning to God, about the power of grace to reach even the most hidden corners of your soul. You are not a lost case. You are not too late. You are not beyond redemption. You are the reason heaven rejoiced today. You are the reason the angels stood guard. You are the reason love refused to give up. Let the light come in. Let it rest in you, not with pressure, but with gentleness. Let it hold you steady when the memories rise. Let it be your shelter when the world feels too loud. And let it remind you, again and again, that you are never walking alone. Jesus walks with you. He carries what you can't. He heals what you cannot fix. And He stays, always. So breathe. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are safe. You are safe in the love that never fails. Type 777 if you walk by faith. There are things you've survived that no one else truly understands. You've had days where just waking up felt like a battle. You've smiled while your heart was breaking and stayed quiet when your spirit was screaming for help. And though you may have felt unseen, you were never hidden from heaven. God was there. Jesus stood beside you when the weight grew too heavy, and when your strength gave out, He lifted you in ways you couldn't even recognize at the time. This is not just a story about a spiritual battle or an exposed investigator. This is about the love of God fighting for you in places you thought no one else cared about. The private matters of your heart, the betrayals, the loss, the confusion, were never too small for Him. They mattered then. They matter now. And He is here not to remind you of what went wrong, but to remind you of what is still possible with Him. Sometimes healing starts with facing what you've been running from. Not all at once, not with pressure or shame, but with grace. The kind of grace that sits with you in the mess, holds your hand through the pain, and never asks you to rush your process. God doesn't need your performance. He just wants your permission to step into your story and make something new out of what was broken. You don't have to go back and relive the pain. You only have to let Jesus meet you in it. He's not here to lecture you or list all the ways you could have done things differently. He's here to love you, exactly where you are. He's here to remind you that nothing you've done has disqualified you from His mercy. Nothing you've endured has changed your worth in His eyes. You are still His child. You are still held in His hands. You are still the one He sees, even in the middle of the night when no one else knows what you're carrying. The enemy tried to convince you that your pain had no purpose, that your tears meant weakness, that your past had the final say. But heaven speaks a different word. Heaven says your pain is not wasted. Your tears are being gathered. Your past is not your future. You are not a lost cause. You are not damaged goods. You are not forgotten. You are God's beloved, and the story is not finished yet. The truth that came from the battle, the uncovering, the exposure, was not to harm you. It was a release. A mercy. A chance to let go of what was never yours to carry. To breathe again. To feel again. To come back to the place where faith and love first lived in you. That place is still there. It's not too late to return. God doesn't shame you for the time you've spent away. He simply rejoices that you're home now. He's not looking for explanations. He's not waiting for you to prove yourself. He just wants your heart. He wants you to know that you can rest now, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, deeply. Rest in the truth that you are loved. Not someday. Not when you've earned it. But now, right here, in the middle of your healing, in the middle of your questions, in the middle of everything that still feels unresolved. You are loved by a God who doesn't let go, who doesn't change His mind about you, who will never stop calling your name with kindness. You've been through more than you should have had to bear. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still reading, still open. That is no small thing. That is victory. And heaven sees it. Heaven honors it. Heaven is not finished with you. Type 333 to welcome blessings. Jesus walks beside you now, not behind you, not above you, but beside you. Every step forward is sacred. Every breath you take in faith is noticed. You are not rebuilding alone. The one who made you is restoring you, and his love will carry you the rest of the way. The spiritual battle that stormed through the unseen world was never about frightening you. It was about freeing you. It was about breaking open the cages built by fear, shame, and silence, and letting the light of Jesus Christ touch the places inside that have long felt forgotten. The exposure of hidden things, the revealing of deception, even the truth that seemed too painful to face, was never meant to harm. It was meant to heal. Because the truth, no matter how heavy at first, always leads to freedom when it is carried in the hands of love. And you, dear one, are the reason heaven fought so fiercely. Not because you are broken, but because you are beloved. Not because you are weak, but because you are worth protecting. Your life matters. Your soul is priceless. And though others may have failed to see the value in you, God never once overlooked it. He designed your heart with purpose. He wrote eternity into your spirit. And He has never stopped reaching for you. The pain that has followed you, the sorrow you've tried to outrun, the weight that kept pulling at your chest, none of it is invisible to Jesus. He doesn't ask you to explain it. He only asks that you let Him hold it. He doesn't expect you to understand it all. He simply asks you to stay close, to keep walking, even if slowly, even if all you can manage is one small breath at a time. That is enough for Him. Your presence is enough. There is no shame in needing healing. There is no guilt in needing rest. God never demanded that you be perfect. He simply asks for your heart. And even if your heart feels shattered, He will take every piece and hold it like treasure. Because that is what you are to Him, treasure. A soul made in His image, deeply loved, and never beyond restoration. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. This journey is not about going back to who you were. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. Not shaped by pain, but shaped by grace. Not marked by fear, but marked by love. The past cannot define you unless you let it. And God is here to gently lift that burden, to rewrite the lies with truth, to make beauty out of everything that tried to bury you. There is power in softness. There is strength in surrender. And even now, as you sit with these words, something deep in your spirit is starting to breathe again. Maybe you don't have all the answers, but you're still here. Maybe you still carry questions, but you haven't let go of hope. That, too, is victory. That, too, is a miracle. The heavens are not waiting for you to do everything right. They're celebrating that you're opening up to healing. That you're letting Jesus come closer, even if your hands still tremble. That you're giving yourself permission to be loved without earning it. This is the truth: you don't have to prove yourself to God. You already belong to Him. He claimed you with His own blood. He chose you before you even knew His name. And He will never unchoose you. Type 1212 if you believe God is guiding you. Let your heart rest in that. Let the pressure fall away. Let the need to perform dissolve in the warmth of mercy. You are not here by accident. You were called. You were rescued. You were protected for a reason. And that reason is love. Jesus walks with you now, not ahead where you can't see Him, and not behind waiting for you to fail. He is beside you, steady and constant, guiding your steps with compassion. There is no rush. There is only grace. And with every quiet moment you give Him, He will fill it with healing, with peace, with the kind of joy that does not depend on circumstances but flows straight from heaven. After the battle in the unseen, after the unveiling of what was hidden, there is a stillness that holds more power than thunder. It's not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of something holy. That stillness is where Jesus meets you now. Not with demands, not with expectations, but with open arms and a heart that has waited patiently for you to return. And not because you were lost, but because you were weary. He knew. He saw it all, the weight you carried, the way you pushed through, the nights you cried in silence. The truth that was revealed wasn't only about what others did. It was about setting you free from what they left behind in you, the fear, the doubt, the lingering voices that tried to convince you that you were hard to love, too broken to fix, too much or never enough. But God never saw you through that lens. His view of you has always been clear. You were created in love. You are held in love. And you are being restored by love. There is nothing weak about needing healing. There is nothing wrong with needing time. What matters is that you are still reaching, not for answers, but for peace. And peace is exactly what Jesus came to give. A peace that doesn't pretend the pain never happened, but instead walks you through it, holds you in it, and gently leads you out of it. The voices of shame may still try to speak, but they are not truth. The truth is this: you are not defined by what broke you. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the weight of what was done to you. You are a child of God, deeply loved, fully known, and completely held. And that truth cannot be shaken, no matter what storms have come. Jesus does not love a future version of you. He doesn't love the better, stronger, or more faithful you. He loves you now. As you are. He is not waiting for your wounds to disappear, He is walking you through them. He is not hoping you'll become worthy, He already sees you as worthy. His love is not fragile, and it does not fade. It is steady. It is strong. And it is yours, forever. You have made it through more than you thought you could. And heaven sees that. You didn't give up, even when it felt impossible. You didn't stop breathing, even when your chest ached from the weight. And even when you thought you'd failed, even when you pulled away, God kept holding you. Because His love is not dependent on your strength. His promises are not based on your perfection. They are rooted in who He is, and He never changes. So now, you are invited into something new. Not a life without struggle, but a life where you no longer walk through it alone. A life where you don't have to pretend anymore. A life where your heart can be honest, open, and safe in the presence of Jesus. You don't have to guard yourself with Him. You don't have to earn your place. You've always belonged. Type 888 to open doors of abundance. Let that truth hold you tonight. Let it settle into your bones. Let it be the ground beneath your feet. You are not lost. You are not too far. You are not behind. You are exactly where God knew you'd be when He whispered, "Come home." You are not who the pain said you were. You are not defined by the wounds, the waiting, the wrong turns. You are who God says you are, chosen, cherished, and surrounded by grace that never gives up. Everything that has led you here, every broken piece and silent battle, has not been wasted. Heaven saw it all. Every tear, every whispered prayer, every moment you thought no one noticed, it was gathered by the hands of the one who calls you His beloved. The spiritual warfare you felt was real. It shook the unseen realms. It pulled back the curtain on lies that had long gone unchecked. But more than that, it was a rescue. A breaking open of what was buried. A divine clearing of the path ahead. The investigator may have been exposed, the hidden revealed, but the deeper truth is this: God used it to call you back, not to a place, but to Himself. Because more than anything else, He wants your heart, whole, free, at rest. And now, here you are, standing in the light of that love. Still healing. Still growing. Still learning how to breathe again. And that's more than enough. You are not late. You are not behind. You are on holy ground, exactly where you need to be. This is not the end of your story, it's the start of something sacred, something rooted in mercy, watered by hope, and carried forward by the gentle hands of your Savior. Jesus has never once walked away from you. Through it all, He stayed. When you were silent, He listened. When you were afraid, He covered you. When you didn't know how to ask for help, He still gave it. That is the kind of love He has for you, not earned, not distant, but close and constant, like a heartbeat. He didn't wait for you to come perfectly. He just waited for you to come honestly. And now, He speaks over you with tenderness: you are mine. You always have been. Let that truth settle deep in your soul. Let it quiet the fear, soften the grief, and remind you that you are never alone. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. The past may have shaped you, but it doesn't own you. The darkness may have touched you, but it didn't consume you. God has the final word, and that word is love. That word is hope. That word is Jesus.